Hi, I'm Aaron Lyles. I'm 28 years old, and this is my first video. I'm just kind of jumping into the whole video production process right now. I mean, this is the first time I've even hit record on the camera, so just kind of bear with me. I'm kind of learning all of this as I go along. So first of all, I want to say thank you. I know you could be watching some other idiot on some other channel or some other site spouting things just as unimportant or even more important than what I'm saying, but you're not. You're listening to me. So thanks again. I do appreciate it. It's genuine. I'm not just saying that. Why am I vlogging? I'm vlogging because I want to be a leader. It's kind of something that when I was younger, in my teens, I wanted to be a leader. It's kind of a juvenile, I guess, kind of desire. I've matured now. Like I said, I'm 28, and I've kind of gotten to the point where I'm past the kind of juvenile part of just wanting to lead people and genuinely wanting to help people, which I think is what leadership is really about. I believe that to be a leader, communication is central to one's effort. It's what makes or breaks a good leader. I think the best leaders have always been good communicators, rather than just authority figures. And there's a difference. One of the primary things that makes a good leader is their ability to control and be aware of what they're saying. I have a problem with cursing. I curse a lot. My ability to speak without cursing is often a struggle, except in the most polite, company. About me, I would say, I would describe myself as a radical egalitarian. I'm kind of the person that I kind of think that you're kind of saying the same thing twice there. It's, to me, a truly egalitarian person is radical. And not necessarily all radicals are egalitarian, but a truly egalitarian person is radical. So why say radical egalitarian? Because a lot of people don't really understand what it means to be egalitarian, or if they kind of understand the word. And when I use egalitarian, I use it in the most extreme, most extreme use or definition. Different topics that I'm going to be talking about in these videos as I vlog are religion, theology, politics. That's probably going to be the main thing for the next 2 months, because we're in election season, 2008, and, it's just that time of year, folks. So, that's what we'll be talking mostly about right now. But as things cool off, I'm going to be talking a lot more about just, philosophy in general and general concepts. I'm much more interested in concepts in philosophy, theology, sociology, psychology, anything with an ology on the end of it, for the most part. Things I won't be talking about, I will not be talking about my personal life. It's just boring. I'm not one of those people who finds it. I don't find most people's lives interesting. I understand there are some people that are interesting, and it's just something about them. They're quirky, or they're weird, or they're funny, or they just have a way of, they can tell you, how they spilt milk in the morning, fixing cereal, and it's just hilarious to hear it. I'm not one of those people. Those people are rare, and I'm not, they're rare enough to where I wouldn't seek them out on the internet. I mean, I've got better things to talk about. I'm sure you've got better things to listen to than, what I did at work today. So what we're going to get onto right now is, I guess, the first topic. Since introductions aside, we're going to go ahead and talk about communication. Communication, like I said, I believe, I want to be a leader. And communication is, I believe, central to being a leader, to being an effective leader. And one thing we have right now is we have a nominee, Barack Obama, who is a super communicator. You can hate him, you can hate his guts, but he's a good, solid, effective communicator. He's good at what he does. He's one of the best communicators I've ever heard. Reagan was a good communicator. Arguably not as good as Barack Obama, but close enough to be. I mean, he was a solid communicator. Clinton was a decent communicator. Good communicators aren't necessarily always good guys, because we can all agree that Hitler wasn't a good guy. Hitler, phenomenal communicator. Read Mein Kampf. He talks about the importance of good speaking. He talks about war propaganda. He's all about communication, and he's very conscious about a person's ability to speak to crowds of people and to deliver a message that rallies support behind an opinion or a goal. That's what leadership's all about. Whether you're a good guy or a bad guy, regardless of what you're doing, whether you're leading a kindergarten class or you're leading a country, if you're a poor communicator, you're not going to get very far. We've seen, I think it's been very evident that, I think, we hear a lot of talk about the divide, especially 4 years ago, at the re-election of George W. Bush. We hear all this discussion about the divide of red America and blue America. And I think that's true. I think there is a divide, and I think some of it's cultural, and we can get into that another time. But I also think that a great deal of that divide, I think, was only made worse and more apparent by the lack of leadership on the Bush administration's part. I mean, he's a horrible communicator. He's bad. He's god-awful. He's painful to listen to. And if you can't, I mean, this isn't just something that, where, oh, well, domestically, he stinks, but he's taking care of, the war abroad and this, that, and the other. It doesn't stop at home. If you can't communicate in your own language, how do you expect to communicate in other languages? I mean, yeah, you say, well, I got an interpreter. Interpreters can only do so much. When you're sitting there saying, well, you know where I stand, that's what the interpreter says. The interpreter doesn't say something else. I mean, he maybe even tries, but it's like one of them things where, what do you say? You don't want to misrepresent the president. You get other interpreters there and stuff. You got to pretty much represent what the guy says, and you can only do so much. So he's probably he probably does all his communication through other people, as far as with other his communication with other leaders through other people, because he's horrible. He's a horrible communicator, and I think I think when the Republicans they can despise the Democrats, they can despise the left, they can get all kind of upset. But at the end of the day, the administration has to own up to its own failures to rally support behind its own causes. And that goes for not just Bush. That goes for any administration. That goes for Obama. That goes for any leadership endeavor. If you can't rally support, that's your problem, and that's something you need to address and you need to resolve. This isn't specifically to rip him apart. The point is that communication, I think it's been one of the greatest failures of this administration. It's something nobody talks about. People say, well, he's not a good talker, he's not a good communicator, and they'll say, the country's divided, but there is a correlation between the two things, between his bad communication and how divided we are. Certainly there would be some division anyway. Make no mistake. So, with that in mind, that's my view on just one aspect of Obama's qualification as president or leadership in any leadership role. I'm sorry, it's a central effort. I mean, if you want to have people, if you want to lead people, you have to know how to talk to them. So that wraps it up this time. I think next time maybe we'll get into some, we'll start debunking maybe, some of these accusations that he's not qualified on the technical level, as far as experience goes, because it really is horse crap. That's what it is. So with that in mind, thanks for watching. I appreciate all comments on content and my communication. Okay, see y'all later.